On the shot clock. 5 on the shot. Triple lots. MJ Walker from distance. Missed out by Florida State.
Florida State have been able to reinvent themselves.
The ACC championship of the regular season.
The Florida State Seminoles are ACC champions.
With the 4th pick, Patrick Williams, the San Antonio Spurs select Devin Vassell from Florida State University.
In my opinion, it may be the best he's had since I've been back in the ACC.
Florida State's got dudes back.
Heading from the Walker buries a big triple. Rumbling the other way to the basket. Evans leans in and scores. This time finding Pilar.
It's rated 3 balls. It's Tallahassee.
What they're so good at doing, they're that junkyard defense.
20. And the beat is done.
We're the new bloods. We're here, and we're not going anywhere.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome all you Seminole Boosters and Coaches Club members. We appreciate your loyal support of Florida State athletics, and I know you're anxious to watch a lot of Florida State Seminole basketball. We got cut short last year, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, but we hope that you notice right there on your screen there's the opportunity to ask questions yourselves that we'll relay to Coach Hamilton during the hour interview we have coming up here. We also have a couple of players coming on also. We're expecting Raiquan Gray and MJ Walker to join us in a little bit, so you might have some questions for them also. Right now, a reminder that Seminole Boosters is taking on 2021 contributions right now. You'll hear more about that also in a minute, and that's what the FSU1tribe.com campaign is all about. So when the video is over and when we've completed our little visit with all the Florida State basketball players and coaches, then you'll want to go to that site and make sure that you renew for this year. And we've included incentives to do so also. So stick with us. Right after Coach Hamilton's interview, we'll talk about the incentives and what it means to re-up in our general fund of Seminole Boosters that is so important to our entire athletic department. But before I go any further, let me introduce Coach Leonard Hamilton. Coach, I hope you're on and can hear me, and all the technology is working, and that's a big smile because we're playing basketball. We didn't tip off when we wanted to tip off, but we've got one game under our belt. We've got plenty of time. We're going to have some questions from some of the folks, but first, thank you for being so gracious with your time. And if anyone knows the importance of Seminole Boosters and our Coaches Club members, you certainly do, because there's no tougher place right now in the country, certainly the ACC, to play basketball when you come in the Tucker Center. Unfortunately, this season we won't have that full advantage of it due to COVID restrictions, and we appreciate the fact that the Tucker Center and our administration worked so hard to get fans in there. We're only one of 5 schools in the ACC right now that's going to allow fans in the arena. So we are allowing fans in. Those tickets are going really fast. We only have about 2,600 of them to give away. So we had the game against UNF, but before we get to this season, I want to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about last season. I know how coaches are. Last season goes away pretty quick, but dadgummit, we all feel cheated. That take us through that awful scenario at the ACC tournament and the wonderful, wonderful basketball team you had last year.
Well, there's no doubt that we were somewhat disappointed the way the season ended, because I thought our guys had worked real hard. We had one goal in mind at the beginning of the season, the same goal that all Division I schools have, is to win a national title. And unfortunately, it was cut short. And it was cut short for a justifiable reason. And what we try to do, Rob, is try to handle it in a matured fashion and utilize the negative experience that we had to endure by not having an opportunity to play. We wanted to use that as a motivator to us come back this year and try to even have a better season, but also just to try to understand that what we're going through in this moment in time. This is unfortunate for us all over the world to be dealing with this pandemic, and we tried to explain to our guys that we had to be thankful for us having the opportunity to play the game that we love, but more than anything else, that we had to accept the fact that people were trying to make decisions to make sure that we stayed safe, and that no one would have anything unfortunate happen to them as a result of being in that arena. And be very honest with you, Rob, the night before the game, I started to feel uneasy when I realized that we were going to have limited fans in the arena. And I just didn't feel good about the thought that whatever we were dealing with, we were trying to avoid to the point where we were limiting fans, that the virus was set in the empty seats, and that it wouldn't come on the floor, and that it wouldn't infect someone. And so, being responsible for our program, I was challenged by the fact that fear of the unknown. And so as we got on the bus, I talked to my staff and told them that I just didn't feel that this was going to end right. And when we got to the arena, I was shocked that we had not been notified earlier than we did. So we went into our game preparation mode. And as we were giving our kids the last minute instructions prior to going out and warming up, is when the athletic director came in and summoned me out. And I knew then that probably was going to be the end of the tournament. Now, I still was holding hopes that we could go to the NCAA tournament. Didn't realize the magnitude of the situation. But actually, I was relieved, and our guys have handled it well. For the moment, for the pleasure that we would have enjoyed, it would have been pale in comparison to if someone had been affected negatively as a result of participating in the game. So right now, we on our way. We rejuvenated our spirits. We refocused, and we love who we represent, the Seminole brand, and we're excited about the upcoming season. We just hope that we can stay safe and healthy, and that we can play the game and go out and hopefully represent the school we love in the type of fashion that hopefully will make our fans very proud of our kids and the progress that we're making.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of the fans didn't appreciate that. There was some, early on when they called that tournament, there was real, I don't know if fear is the right word. I think there was fear for some of the student athletes, but apprehension, there was no one knew what was going on, and they really were scared, and not all of them obviously, but there was deep concern. So, all right, let's push that aside, except for to mention that we were number 4 in the country going into the NCAA tournament. Obviously, predicted to be one of the top 4 seeds, and I know you don't want to talk about it anymore, but I'm still mad. But anyway, let's talk about the 3 guys that just got drafted before we leave last year's team, because I know you're proud of what they've become since they've come to Florida State and where they're heading. I'm, of course, talking about the 2 draft picks and then Trent Forrest signing his free agent contract. Number 4, Patrick Williams, taken with the number 4 pick in the draft by the Chicago Bulls. That ties for the highest FSU draft pick ever. It ties Dave Cowens, who was also the 4th pick in the draft. And then Devin Vassell, of course, at the 11th pick. So 2 lottery picks for Florida State in the NBA draft. And then Trent Forrest, of course, who we all think the world of. I tell you, if everybody had a Trent Forrest on their team, there'd be pretty good basketball teams out there. So I know you're proud of those guys.
There's no doubt that we're very proud of the fact that those guys demonstrated under our tutelage that they were guys who could play at the highest level. And I'm sure that they're going to represent the Seminole brand in fine fashion. I was glad to see Trent sign with, obviously, the Utah Jazz. While he was our point guard, we won 9 straight overtime games. Mm-hmm. We lost 3 games at home in the 4 years he was here. We lead the nation in games decided by 2 possessions or less, and a lot because of the leadership that he gave us and the decisions that he made down the stretch. So our hat goes off to him. A lot of guys have benefited from his assists. Dwayne Bacon and Jonathan Isaac, Fiondu Kabengele, and Terrence Mann, and Devin, and those guys, Devin and Patrick. But he's had such an unselfish spirit. He always say he was E.F. Hutton of basketball, because whenever he spoke, everybody wanted to listen, because he had so much wisdom in his game. So we're proud of those guys. And Trent, obviously, was working on his master's degree, had graduated from school. I think he might have made all conference academic all ACC every semester he was here. So, your hat goes off to any young man like that. But Patrick and Devin, there's no doubt that they have great futures. And Dominique is nearly averaging a double-double over in Europe. So we're very proud of those guys. And I'm sure they're going to represent, once again, the Seminole brand very well.
Well, the other thing they represent is 11.6 points per game for Trent, gone. Devin's 12.7 points per game. I don't want to scare you. Patrick Williams, 9.2 points per game. You lost a lot of scores there. Now we'll shift to this year's team. We've got one game under our belt. We'll talk about that in a moment. But sort of give the state of the union of this basketball team.
Well, there's no doubt that, like many of the schools in the country, we don't know very much about who we are right now. We've been in practice, but we haven't played. We played against ourselves. The game the other night, we treated that more like an exhibition game. No disrespect to North Florida, but it was important that I got guys on the floor, got them in front of fans, get over that nervousness. And we have to work through that. It's not easy to start the season off in the fashion that we started off, right? Jumping out of the frying pan right into the fire. So we got as many guys on the court. We didn't ever have – there was only a brief period there, maybe about 8 minutes ago, when we put our veterans together. And I think they played like they were experienced. And right now, if you look back the last 2 or 3 years, Devin was the only freshman that played, the only one first-year player. And I think we went – I guess that was the Sweet 16 team, maybe, or the Elite 8. Anyway, and then the next year, this past season, we had only Patrick basically was inexperienced. Dominique was a fifth-year senior. The 2 junior college players that played college basketball, and Patrick was the only new guy in that didn't have very much experience. Now this year, even though we have Tanoy Nagon. He is a rising senior. He's a senior on our program. He played at a much lower level in Canada, and so he's adjusted even though he's talented. There's no doubt that he's still in the learning stage, lifting weights, getting stronger. He's never played against the height and size and strength that he's facing now. Sadar Calhoun, the junior college player, has been kind of a dominant force in the junior college ranks, but now this is a whole new system for him to learn, and he's dealing with the learning curve. Quincy Ballard, obviously, is a youngster that doesn't have very much experience, but he has a lot of potential, like a lot of the other players we've had in the past that we bring in. They're unknown when they leave. People are proud that they've been here. Then obviously Scottie Barnes, who played probably at a little higher level at Mount Bird, the competition they played in, probably a little more prepared. But my point is that we've never had 4 guys that we need to be a little bit more ready to be integral parts of our rotation as we do this particular year. And that's with less practice, less summer, less opportunity to no exhibition games, no tune-up games, so to speak. So we kind of in the development stage where I have to learn a little bit more about how to utilize their individual skills and talents. They need to learn a little bit more about each other and learn how they need to play in order to be successful with the teammates that they have. So we in the learning stage, somewhat the cake's still in the oven, but we don't have any room to learn other than on the fly, so to speak. Mm-hmm. We play a very good Indiana team that represents one of the most rich traditional programs in the history of college basketball. And then we come in, next game was an arrival, and then you got a conference game. And so, we don't have a whole lot of games to develop. We have to be ready sooner. So this is a little bit more challenging situation than we've been in the past. We have some experienced players returning, and hopefully that will carry us through this development stages of the beginning of the year.
Well, as I mentioned, we played one game so far, had one postponed and have rescheduled that with Gardner-Webb. But we have played one game, 86-58, as you mentioned, over North Florida. And I did read through your quotes in the preseason, and you really like how MJ Walker has progressed through your program. And certainly the box score from North Florida would reflect that. He led us with 17 points, looked great out there. A lot of people, a lot of buzz around Sadir Calhoun and his shooting there. And you mentioned Ngom, and there's one thing was proven in his brief time on the court. He's definitely 7 feet 2 inches tall. No doubt about that. I look at the other coaches that are going to go up against you, and they got to look at that roster and just think, what in the world? But talk about MJ Walker and his progress to now one of the leaders of the team.
Well, there's no doubt that he has been a joy to coach. He's going to get his degree right on schedule. He's developed every year as a player. I think that he has that warrior mentality, that junkyard dog mentality that we always talk about. And when I look back at his career, even as a freshman, he always made big shots when the game was on the line. He seemed to always rise to the occasion. Whenever we needed something done, he just seemed to have that ability, to develop that focus that allows us to be successful. At Notre Dame last year, at home when he got injured, came back in the game against Syracuse. Many, many times he hit timely shots and made steals and made plays. So he has a special focus that he's coming now with a lot of experience, and he's given us tremendous leadership. We expect him to have a big-time year.
And you mentioned the schedule, and I'll mention to those Seminole Boosters and Coaches Club members on the call that tip time against Indiana has bounced around a couple of times. We're down to the last bounce, so to speak. We're tipping off at 7:15 on ESPN against Indiana Wednesday night. It's ESPN, and that's because of a couple of cancellations of other ACC Big Ten Challenge games for COVID-related reasons and other issues. But we'll tip off against them, and you mentioned going right into the frying pan. So we've got Indiana Wednesday. We're going to play Florida on the 12th. That's 11 a.m. tip-off on ESPNU. Of course, we play Duke in football that afternoon at 4. So if you're lucky enough to get a ticket, that's a heck of a day for you in Tallahassee. Georgia Tech is then on Tuesday the 15th at 8:30 on the ACC network. And then UCF has not been scheduled with the time yet, but that's on the 19th. So all of a sudden, you went from no games to a bunch of games.
And a bunch of tough games.
Yeah.
But it's probably good that we are playing this level of competition early because we know we have to be on point. We don't have any room for errors. We have to be playing at our best with very little tune-up time, very little experience playing together with this new addition of the Seminole basketball team. So it's what it is. I'm sure we're not the only team in America that's facing this situation. And we got to be big boys, put our pants on. We got to go out and represent the Seminole brand. I think our guys are excited, but it's early. We're hoping that we can get through this part unscathed. But the most important thing is that we continue to keep getting better, to get to that NCAA tournament and see if we have an opportunity to compete for a national title.
This will be music to your ears, but we're going to have him on just in a little bit. Our new color man on the radio yesterday, our last game, his assessment following the game was that he saw a lineup that could be really, really good on defense. And I know that's going to make you smile right now. I know they're not there. I know they got to work to get there, but it really has become our hallmark is to play really good defense.
Well, I think maybe you might need to send a memo to our players. make sure they remember that's the hallmark. But no, we're still developing, but I would like to be able to tell you that we are definitely right at 100% efficiency, but that's not who we are now. We still got some growing pains we got to go through it. The good news is that we're going to have some really, really good competition to sharpen our blades against. And so we're excited about it. I love the team. I love the attitude. We got great chemistry, great camaraderie. Now we just got to go out and put it all together.
you got to compete like crazy just to get on the court with this lineup. That's it's one thing that the benches are now separated. Wait till you see it, folks. We got the 6 feet separation between each of the members on the bench. The last guy on the bench is in the daggum tunnel down there on both sides. But I mean, not figuratively, but in reality, there's a lot of competition just to get on that court. We got lots of returning players. We talked about the ones we lost, and that's everyone tends to do that. But Raiquan Gray is going to talk to us here in a little bit, and NJ, who we talked about, we got Malik Osborne back, Anthony Polite, Wyatt Wilkes, Raekwon Evans, Nathaniel Jack, and the big guys in there. So we've got a lot of guys coming back. We got the nucleus of the team, but obviously we missed some of that scoring. And since we're going to hear from Raiquan in just a little bit, he looks different too. When you don't adjust your TV set, he has put in a little work over the summer, and he was light on his feet for a big man, and now he's a lighter big man.
Well, there's no doubt that he has trimmed up a little bit, but he's gotten himself in much better condition. It's a little challenging to move as well as he moves and as fast as he is on a consistent basis, and be able to be as effective as he's shown that he's capable of being. He made a big thunderous dunk the other night. He's improved the shooting. He's one of the leaders on the team. He makes great decisions. I'm looking forward to him utilizing his strength, his body, and his skills to be effective. But he's doing a great job for us. I think there's no doubt that you have to say that he's one of the most improved players on the team.
And he's, for a guy that size with those hands, he's got fantastic hands and great feet and so nimble. It's really fun to watch, and he's a hard worker. He didn't mind a little contact while he's out there. Let me give you a question now from somebody I know, but Mark Hillis from the Seminole Booster Board and former FSU Board of Trustees Vice Chair. He wants to know about the bubble. He says, has the bubble around the men's basketball program kept players and staff unaffected from COVID-19 thus far? And related to COVID, what would cause a game to be postponed or canceled? Well, that's a $64 million.
Right now, we're getting tested 3 times a week, and I've been very impressed with the fact that our guys have made the sacrifices. We haven't missed any practices, and our guys are working hard. We seem to be in a pretty good place now, and it is so difficult to maintain safety in your health when there's an invisible virus around, and you can be doing everything right and picking up at a filling station, putting gas in your car. So it's just such a challenge for our guys, especially young people. And I know Mark, when he was 18 and 19 years old, I'm sure he was an angel. He lived right by the foot of the cross, and he didn't do any of the things that 18 and 19-year-olds did. He probably was in at home by 7 o'clock. He didn't drink anything but milk and cookies, and he never went out and had fun. So, but our kids are not angels. Every time I see Mark, I see that halo on his head, and I see that Mark place where the wings were on his back. You know what I'm saying? But these youngsters that we coach, they're not angels, and they don't have halos. They're young people, and so for them, to discipline themselves, to take care of each other and hold each other responsible, has been something for us to be proud of. But I am concerned. Just about every day we talk about being safe. We give them all types of statistics that we research over and over and over to try to let them know that we in a pandemic, and you have to try to do everything you can to stay safe. I mean, now we got over 2,500 people losing their lives a day to the pandemic. Now that's not anything that's something to be concerned about. And so you can't let your guard down. Hopefully we can continue to keep staying safe. And we hope that we don't have any games canceled, but at least we don't want to have any games canceled because of us. We don't want to have any games canceled at all. We want to, and right now we in our own little bubble. I think a bubble to us, a bubble to you might be different than my bubble. And I'm doing the very best I can, and I'm proud of the fact that our players are doing the very best they can as well. And hopefully we can be this way for the whole year.
Is there a number that the ACC gives that you have to have X players available to play the game? And I'm not necessarily saying our team, but the opponent. You got to think about the opponent too. We're trusting the opponents to be as careful as we're being.
Well,
Marcia wanted to know that, by the way.
It appears to me that there's a moving target. We're learning more and more about what is best. This is things that we've never been through before. And one day it was 10 days, and another day now it's 7 days, and you have different protocols. I'm not real sure with this new tracing thing that's on board now. If you not only if someone gets in, you've been close to them, I think they're shutting you down for 14 days. So
right.
What we're trying to do is not be affected by it. I'm not even thinking about it. I just think that you look around the country, there were basketball games canceled all over the country, maybe almost 30 games canceled. That's 60 teams affected by this, and football games being canceled, and NFL games being rescheduled. So this is something we're just dealing with. This is a new time, a new day, and a new era, and a new year, and a new challenge for us. We just gotta try to do the very best we can, pray and hope that things work out okay, and that we don't have anybody really adversely affected by this unfortunate situation we're dealing with.
One last question before I want to let you go, and that is one of the most heralded players to ever sign with Florida State, and he was adjusting some things in this first game as well. Scottie Barnes, of course, is 6'9". He was rated one of the top 6 players in the country, the top power forward in the country, and he's bringing the ball down from point guard against North Florida. He is that skilled a player, and just your evaluation of his talent so far, and I know he's going to play guard, but his point guard, I know you like big guards, and 6'9" point guard would be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, that's the position that he's playing on this team. He is our point guard. And even though he was 6'9" power forward, I saw something different in him that I thought that we could develop. And I thought there are a lot of 6'9" power forwards, but there are not a lot of 6'9" point guards. He has high basketball IQ. He plays extremely hard. He's quick enough and athletic enough to defend all 5 positions. I think he has a great future, but he's adjusting from being a versatile player to primarily being the point guard. So that's an adjustment he has to make. Is regardless of the progress he's made, he's just starting, and I expect him to continue to keep getting better and better and better. It's not easy to make that adjustment from being a guy who's playing in the lane to a guy who's running the team and making decisions. So it's a process that he has to go through, but he's made progress up to this point. But I think he's going to get better and better as he gains experience and understands now how to utilize his skills in relation to his teammates, who needs to have the ball where. I mean, the guy who has that ball in his hands has a different responsibility. He makes everybody around him better, as well as trying to be confident enough to be offensive productive as well. So he has big shoes to fill, but I think he's up to the task, and I think you're going to see him get better and better as he moves through this season.
Just dig up some of that old George McLeod film from the early 80s and show him what a 6'9" point guard can do to a Louisville defense back then in the old Metro Conference. Coach, I can't thank you enough for your time. I know it means the world to our Seminole Boosters and our Coaches Club members. Good luck to you. I think we'll do this a couple more times.
I would like to say how much we appreciate the support that Seminole Boosters and our Coaches Club members and alumni and our boosters, period. They are contributing to something that's very, very important and significant in the lives of these young men. A lot of these guys are first-time college students in their family. Some of them changed the whole culture of their family and set the table for their siblings and people to follow them, to look up to. So it's very, very important. We're unbelievably thankful and appreciative to the support that they give us. This is, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Salaries been cut, budgets have been cut. We're dealing with all kinds of financial issues during this time. We all have been affected tremendously by this unfortunate pandemic that we're going through. So we want to thank them for their support. We want to encourage them to continue to support us now. We probably need the support now more than ever because of the cutbacks and things, and the budget cuts and the revenue streams that have been affected so adversely. So we want to thank them. It's appreciative, and we're going to, as a result, we're going to go out and represent the Seminole brand the best we can, and hopefully we can play well enough to make our boosters and our supporters proud.
I have no doubt of that. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for your time. And we'll hear from MJ Walker and Raiquan Gray in just a moment. But first, I want to mention briefly what we talked about in the very beginning, and that is the FSU1Tribe.com campaign. You see the website there below me. But if you have not renewed your Seminole Booster membership for 2021 yet, or if you're in a position to increase your support, please visit that website. We're right in the middle of the campaign. If you pay in full by December 31st, we'll provide triple priority points. So if you do so before December 31st, we'll triple your priority points for that gift. And remember, that's pay in full. So you need to pay in full by December 31st, not just begin your payment. But wait, there is more. Increase or commit your support by January 31st in order to receive additional benefits such as decals, hats, polos, autographed memorabilia. Oh my, a whole range of things. So they're incentivizing you to get in there and get that done. If you can make your whole commitment by December 31st and by January 31st, if you can increase your commitment, then they will provide things, as we mentioned, hats, polos, autographed memorabilia, one of each. We'll see what you can talk them out of. Again, that's FSU1Tribe.com to pledge your support to Seminole Athletics. And we appreciate so much Michael Alford, who is now on board as the president and CEO of Seminole Boosters. We are in the this drive right now, which is new. We are not tying it to tickets. It's a drive, standalone drive for the general fund, which is kind of the most important fund at Seminole Boosters because it's not earmarked. And during these difficult times, it is really important. But you have been such champions of Florida State athletics, all you Seminole Booster members and Coaches Club contributors. And we want you to feel part of the program. Hope you do, and hope you can help the program. And that's the way you can help. Everybody wants to know how they can help. That's how they can help. And I know a guy that can help our basketball team right now. And I think we're bringing Raiquan Gray on first, if I'm not mistaken, if we can roll him up there. But if I see MJ Walker, I'll know it's MJ. So bring him on up. And, it's MJ. All right. So good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Coach spoke. Could you hear him speaking glowingly of you during the offseason? He probably hopes you didn't see it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I heard him.
All right, 18 points. Let's see. Averaged 10.6 points last year. The UNF game, you had 17 points to lead the team. How did you feel in that first game, and how has the offseason gone? And we'll get to the ACC tournament last year in a minute.
I felt good. I mean, I kind of just let the game come to me. I didn't really come in saying, I want to score a bunch of points or whatever. I just kind of like let the game come to me, be patient. My teammates put me in a great position in that game, looking for me. Scotty found me a couple times throughout the game, and along with my other teammates. So just reading the game well, and that just comes with watching film and letting the game come to me, not really hunting shots. And the off season was it was pretty tough. It was a little weird, especially with how the season ended. It was confusing. A lot of us were confused and kind of emotional because we were kind of on a run, and a lot of us cried. After that whole pandemic had kind of hit us blindsidedly. So I mean, we kind of adjusted from it. I mean, we had our time, to just absorb, and appreciate all the things that we did last season. We moved on from it, and you know, are ready to attack the season head on. So.
All right. So, favorite shot?
It's my favorite.
Three-pointer, obviously, right?
Hey, layup 2 points easy, but I love the shot, man. That's always been something that I could, you know, that I could do, and it was one of my strengths. So as I kind of get it from my parents, they both were shooters in college. So,
but you like to play defense just as much, which is why you're on the court. If you don't like to play defense, you're not going to be in the court for Coach Hamilton.
Facts. That's a fact right there. Yes, sir.
Which do you think he likes better? Does he like seeing a guy take a charge, or does he like seeing a guy dunk? Which one that makes him smile more?
I mean, Coach Ham, he usually is always in the middle. Like sometimes we dunk, even when we dunk the ball in the game, you look at him on the sideline, he just looks the other way, like, you know, like nothing just happened. I'm like, Coach, get turned up, man. Like, but, I don't know, man. I feel like he likes dunks. He don't necessarily get too hyped, but I think he really likes when we dunk the ball, and it kind of brings us momentum and energy to the game.
Well, you've got a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, and he couldn't have been happier to give it to you. I tell you, he you know, Coach Hamilton, words are important to him. And when he talks well of a player in terms of an all season and responsibilities that he can handle, he means it. He's not going to sing somebody's praises that don't deserve it. So I know you're looking forward to that. You got some teammates from last year that on that number 4 ranked team that aren't there anymore, but you got new teammates. And tell me what this team is like.
Man, I feel like we have a lot of potential. I mean, I feel like each year that I've been here, we literally get better every year. We kind of have guys coming in this year in a kind of weird situation just because of, you know, we kind of didn't know if we were having a season, didn't know when we were going to start, kind of was on and off with the having access to the facility and things like that. So all of that was going on, you know, prior to the season. Usually we didn't have our same off season, but I mean, the talent that we have on our team, and I'm telling you, I feel like we continue to stay locked in, you know, taking advantage of the time, because I mean, we don't know if this could be shut down again, but you know, I think we have a lot of potential. And guys that they've done a great job so far, just with the time that they had and from coming in and doing what they do. So I think we'll be pretty good.
Got newcomers coming in, and by newcomers, I don't mean just they're only 2 freshmen, I guess. And but you got new players who have played somewhere else before. You got Scottie Barnes at point guard, and you've got to. Sometimes that can be tough if you're a returning starter and you got a new point guard. Doesn't matter who the point guard is or what his style is. It's just different than Trent Forrest has been for 3 years, who was unbelievable, obviously, with the ball in his hands and such a clutch guy. So a little bit of patience is required, I would assume, by you and some of the other returning starters, getting to know how Scotty's going to play up there.
Yeah, you got to have it. I mean, he's young, you know what I mean? Fresh out of high school, you know what I mean? Excited to play, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I remember when I was a freshman, you kind of play fast, you know what I'm saying? Because you're so excited to play. You want to score a lot. You want to, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So we kind of just preaching to him, you know what I'm saying? Calming him down, watching film with him, you know, explaining to him the game, because a lot of us come out of high school and don't necessarily know the game like that, and you know how it's supposed to be executed. So we talk to him a lot on and off the court. Continue to build that relationship with him, have him, you know, not necessarily stress about, you know, the pressures and everything, and, you know, get to that next level, or just being in the point guard position, because I mean, it's a lot of responsibility, but we try our best to make it easy on him and to make sure that, you know, every day you come in practice, you know, it takes one step at a time, get 1% better. And that's all we care about. So.
All right. 2 more quick questions. One is, tell us something interesting, funny, a fact about one of your teammates that we don't know.
Ah, man. Let's see. What's something funny? Give me some.
Oh, there's other guys in the room, I see.
Oh,
okay.
Turk's in here. Raiquan's in here. I would just say, like, I mean, Anthony, kind of like when he talks to us, sometimes he kind of says things in a different language. We look at him crazy, like, hey, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be on the phone, and he'll be mid-conversation with us, and he just switch up his language real quick. And we're like, bro, I thought you was just talking to me. Like, like, what's going on? But I'll just say that. I mean, everybody's, like, funny in their own little way. Like, you know what I'm saying, you gotta be around this kind of like to feel that. But I mean, everybody has their own little thing, so it's a lot I can say. But
yeah, that's what makes it a team. Is it a group of guys you enjoy being around?
Yes, sir.
And then just one last question. I'm cheating. I'm giving you an answer. What does playing at Florida State mean to you? I mean, the people listening in on our call are the ones who've contributed to Seminole Boosters and have essentially paid for scholarships for not only you, but track, tennis, golf, football, all our sports. And they have a vested interest, obviously, in the image of Florida State University in athletics. And every time you take a three-pointer, it's like we're taking a three-pointer. Yeah. But what has playing at Florida State meant for you?
Man, it's a blessing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, this is probably like the best part of my life so far, just from the growing part and everything that they've poured into us, giving us these opportunities, you know what I'm saying, to just be here and, you know, just, you know what I'm saying, from my freshman year and all the way to now, I just feel like each and every year, the growth and the support system that they've had for us continues to grow, and we show it. Like during the games, I hear them all the time, you know what I'm saying, right by the floor, and that, like, it gets me going, you know what I'm saying, just because, like, you know, I know they care so much, you know what I mean, so, like, they pour so much into us, so, like, I mean, honestly, like, I thank y'all, like, so much, really. I mean, from being here all the way to my senior year, you know what I'm saying, like, the support is unreal. I mean, it's so much I can say. I wish we could see you guys, like how we had the meetings all the time, you know what I'm saying, seeing you all at those meetings and getting able to engage with you all. But, you know, the pandemic obviously shut that down. But, I mean, if you're listening, I just want to tell you all thank you so much for everything that you've done and continuing to do. And, you know, we need you all, and we just want to say thank you, and we can continue to our best to make you all proud. So.
Well, you've made us proud so far. You'll make us proud again, and you made the Tucker Center one of the toughest places in the country to play for, and you guys did that. We're up there cheering and cheering you on, but you guys have created the basketball program that when you pull up for that three-pointer, we all are grabbing the arm of our chair and saying, "Here it goes," you know. So you've made the great basketball atmosphere. Congratulations and good luck this season. Stay healthy. Keep your teammates out of trouble, and bring in Raiquan right now. Speaking of teammates, let's see.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
See what Raiquan's got to say here.
Come on over here, Raiquan Gray. Come in, 6'7".
There you go.
He's 200 pounds now.
What? No, he's not that low, is he?
All
right. First of all, no, I'm not going to make you. I'm not going to. Congratulations on coming into the season and all the responsibility being put on you. You look different, and I know you've been working out like crazy to drop a little weight. Not that I had any problem with your previous weight, but you've got fantastic hands and feet for a big man. You move unbelievably well, and that's going to only be more pronounced now that you're a different size jersey than you were before. How did you do it?
I mean, I just took advantage of the time we had off, you know, throughout the off season with quarantine and stuff. Just, you know, staying in shape, I guess, running a lot, lifting as, you know, as much as possible, and get stronger, the body, the tone. So
you guys have seen nothing but each other for the last 3 months. You're probably sick to death of that practice gym and playing against each other, but you probably have some feel for the team. I know the North Florida game gave you a little bit of a feel for it, but overall, how would you characterize this basketball team? Because last year's unfortunately is gone.
I mean, I think that we want to be in the same spot. I mean, that's last year. Honestly, we're gonna have the same success. We had the right pieces to do it. You know, the first game kind of showed a glimpse of the potential that we have as a team. I think we played well, and we're just going to get better as, you know, time goes on. But I definitely think that we have the right pieces and, you know, the right mentality for this team to make it run at AC championship and national championship again. So
I'm going to remind all our fans that get to go into the arena that we are insisting on people wearing a mask. I know that's important for the guys playing the ball game in particular, but obviously with every other human being in the arena. But one of the things I noticed, and they're going to give out to some of the students at the Indiana game, is this new blood face mask. New blood is what to you guys?
I mean, that's just who we are now. I mean, we that's, you know, our brand. That's what we, you know, take up as a whole, as a team. You know, that's our mentality going into each game, you know, each season. I mean, we're new blood. You know, we want to compete with the blue bloods, traditional teams, as far as, like, you know, UNC, Kentucky, you know, those guys like that. We feel that we're making a change in college basketball, and we just call ourselves the New Bloods. We don't want to be a blue blood. We want to be our own. Create our own brands. The New Bloods is what we roll with. That's our mentality for the season.
That's a fun phrase. I didn't realize that was the meaning for it. So we're pushing into the blue bloods with our new blood. I like that. So you're going to have one of the responsibilities for getting us there, and probably seeing more playing time and all. Let me grab your UNF numbers. But before we get to that, your favorite thing to do on a basketball court? What's your favorite event on a basketball court? Blocking a shot, dunking, passing off. I know no one says passing off.
Man, I would say a dunk, but I like to steal the ball. I mean, I like to get steals and stuff like that. So I think steals leads to dunk. So I'll say a dunk definitely. It kind of gets you going and get the crowd going, your teammates going. So yeah, I like dunking. It's a lot of fun.
We've got a question now from Brian Stewart. I think it will come up on the screen. Here you go. Brian Stewart wants to know, what can we do to help the team from the stands?
That's tough. Oh man. I mean, just bring as much energy as possible. Honestly, with the limited crowd there, for the fans that are there in the arena. I think just making your voice heard. Knowing we definitely feel that you guys are in the arena and we appreciate you guys coming out. But just is bringing as much energy as possible, as if it was a packed out crowd or sold out crowd. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're down, as I mentioned, to the 2,600. So you're going to have to do your very best if you're one of those lucky few who have a ticket to be there in person. Talk about some of the newcomers on the team, maybe not specifically, but just the whole group of newcomers. They've got to fill in for obviously four talented guys that have left, 2 lottery picks, obviously, and then Trent Force, who was so fantastic at point guard. But are you liking what you see out of the younger guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a new thing for them, coming in from high school and junior college and stuff like that. But, like I said, it's been a different time, with the corona. They didn't get as much as practice, I would say, in the previous class have got, throughout the summer. So, I mean, they've done a great job of listening, being coachable and trying to learn as much as possible, as fast as possible. So, I mean, they're having fun, they're fitting into our culture. You wouldn't really know that in new guys if you didn't watch last year. So, I mean, they're doing a great job of learning and just having fun out there.
So Coach Hamilton has been pretty open about his praise for your work of this team in the preseason. He said he likes this team. He doesn't always say that going into a season. Do you see enjoyment in he and the other staff? And by the way, CJ, Stan, the assistant coaches, and Steve Smith that have been here and had so much to do with the success of the program. But do you see from your coaching staff a difference in last year and this year?
Not really. I mean,
I knew you were going to say not really.
Yeah, that's kind of their job. Always keep us humble and make sure we're working hard and just stay on us about the little details. But I mean, they're definitely confident in the team that we have. They've expressed that multiple times, and they think that we have a chance to win the national championship. And, I mean, for our coaches, that's just their job to stay on us and keep us humble. So I mean, they kind of have the same mentality going into each year, and they feel the same way. So I mean, I'm definitely confident in my team, that we can make a run and win the national championship. That's our goal. So. But the coaches have done a great job of just, keeping us humble and make sure we're working hard and paying attention to detail.
I love the way national championship just rolls off your tongue like it's nothing. You don't realize the progress that's been made in our program, particularly over the last 12 years, to go from where we were, which was the middle of the ACC, to literally having national championship aspirations once again. And of course, last year, you guys, and we bled for you when it happened. The number 4 team in the country in that awful experience at the ACC tournament and then the NCAA not getting played, and we know you feel cheated and we feel cheated, and we hope you'll be able to put that past you and enjoy this season for what it is. And it's certainly, from the look on your face and MJ's face and Coach Hamilton's, we're looking for big things this year, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, great, and we'll hope to visit with you again during the season. Raiquan Gray, as good a hands and feet as any big man I've seen in a long time, and he'll be happy to display that on the fast break, which is his favorite thing to do. But right now, and thank you, by the way, Raiquan, for that time that you've given us, but we're going to bring in Adrian Crawford, who should be a face and a name familiar to, oh, man, he looks like $1 million. Holy good night. Looks like you could go right back out and stroke that 3. As you remember, Adrian Crawford was a former player for the Seminoles who just owned the 3-point line for us. And his dad coached with the Seminole coaching staff. So it's so great to have you. You've been around the program, so you never really have been away from the program. But he's now joined Gene Deckerhoff as the color analyst on the Seminole Radio Network, and I know you're looking forward to the new gig.
Yeah, it's been an incredible opportunity again, working again next to Gene, who's a legend. Trying to follow in the footsteps of Keith, and I think he did an incredible job. And so, I just consider it an incredible honor to do it again. I love Florida State. This university gave me so much. Gave me opportunity. Met my wife here. I live here in Tallahassee. My 3 kids are natives here in Tallahassee. So again, I love the city, love this university. So if I can give back in any way, I'm really excited to do it.
Well, you probably heard what I was saying to Raiquan Gray there at the end when national championship just kind of rolled off his tongue. And I said, you don't know how unusual that is to be back in that position. But it's obviously it's legitimate. But you've seen the progress of the program, particularly over the last 7, 8 years, 10 years or so, when we really hit our stride. And it's really when Coach Hamilton said, look, we're gonna get guys that I want to coach, and they're going to play the way I need them to play.
Yeah.
And obviously it's paid off to the point that now the NBA scouts are suggesting to stars that one of the places you want to think about looking at is Florida State. And because of the way he can teach defense and the way he can coach high profile players and the way he can balance minutes and have stars sit for 12 minutes to watch somebody else play in front of them. So I know you've admired that.
Yeah, I really have. It's been an amazing thing watching these guys. And I think more than anything else, it's credit to Coach and his staff is that, Coach has always been a guy where he has certain principles. I mean, that he's not going to relent from. He's going to run motion but he's also, they're going to front the post. They're going to play hard defense, all that stuff. But one of the things he's done is Coach has done an incredible job of evolving with the game. Again, he was a guy, Coach, you meant early on, we always had, the 7-footers and the 6'11s at the 4 spot. Now, if you look down the stretch, the biggest guy this year, maybe our point guard, Scottie Barnes in the game. Yeah. So he's evolved with it. And I think he's done an incredible job. And I think these guys have done a phenomenal job at developing talent. And I think what Coach needs to get credit for as a staff, everybody used to talk so much about how, these guys can recruit, but can they coach? But I was trying to remind people last year we had, one guy you just had on MJ Walker. We had one McDonald's All-American on that team last year.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these guys have always been able to coach basketball. And now people are getting to see these guys can coach basketball and recruit talent. And so it's an amazing thing to be able to watch it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I've got a whole collection of internet comments of when we should have let Coach Ham go about 5 or 6 years ago, and how ridiculous and idiotic we were not to look for a new basketball coach. And I keep those just in case you ever see them pop up again. So, I send them a Christmas card every once in a while. At any rate, by the way, you're a really good Twitter follower. Twitter follow. So I encourage all the boosters and fans that now he's doing our basketball games to follow him on Twitter and see. And you did a really good assessment, I thought, of after the first game, North Florida. You're not going to learn tons of stuff there, but you did make some observations there. One of which I mentioned to Coach Ham probably before you got on, and that was you said that you thought this team had the potential to be a really good defensive team. Yeah. And of course, a smile broke across Ham's face. He wanted me to tell the players that was important, but I'm sure he'll do that. But what did you see against North Florida?
What I saw was, first of all, I saw a team with just, again, with incredible length. That's one thing about Florida State basketball. They're going to start off, and the thing that's amazing is the fact that they can switch 1 through 5. The thing I was most impressed with is that even with Balsa on the floor, they're able to switch, against smaller, quicker guards, and I think that makes it a nightmare for a lot of people. What I was impressed with, MJ Walker, he had on. I thought he did a great job of is showing the maturity of just actually being that senior where he let the game come to him, and he had probably one of the most efficient games I've seen MJ play. Turk was phenomenal. We saw Raiquan again. He's in incredible shape. 4 steals. He probably had on top of 8 or 9 deflections. Scottie Barnes is what he is. I joked around like Coach Ham didn't recruit Scottie Barnes from Mount Verde. I think he went to Professor X's school of the gifted. Yeah. That kid's amazing. Yeah, I like that. You just can't, you don't find that. But the kid is special. And even though he didn't have a great statistical shooting the game, I tell people he rolls out the bed. He's 8, 8, and 8. Just on a bad night, and he still had a huge impact in the game. And so he's just going to get better as the year goes on. And so, again, Teams got loads of talent. I think we got to be patient with them because again, last game was just like it was really their first live competition against anybody. Right. So normally by now you've had 5 games. You've had 2 maybe inter-squad scrimmage or scrimmages against closed door scrimmages against another university. You've had some exhibition games. So that's what you saw the other night. You kind of saw some of the rust, but it's going to take a few games, and they got a tough one. They're going to have a tough one coming up on Wednesday against a really good Indiana team.
Yeah, no question about it. And you mentioned these early games and having to be ready. We've seen some weird scores already. Kentucky's lost a couple of games already. So it's been a real adjustment for everybody with the COVID and protecting the players and then not getting your usual routine. Athletes love routine, and anything that disrupts routine is a problem. So I think patience is a really good word to use. Patience is needed by probably all of college basketball with this team as well. And then from where you were sitting, in terms of calling the game, 3-point shots. It looks like we might have some 3-point shooters that can shoot some of these teams out of the zone that are going to have to try and pack it in against a 6'9" point guard, and the rest of them taller than him.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think though we didn't have great percentages the other night. What we do have though is that normally, these guys are going to shoot the ball well. I mean, you're going to be able to see. I think you're going to get out there. I mean, I think Raiquan's going to shoot it well. I think Malik's going to shoot it well. MJ's going to shoot it well. I think Scotty will be efficient shooting the ball out there. I think you're going to come on with a Jack off the bench. I think Wyatt Wilkes is going to I think Wyatt Wilkes is going to be okay as well. And so again, I think we're going to be able to shoot the ball fine. I mean, it just takes time. These guys get going.
Well, there's no question about it, and we've got time. But I look at sometimes I like to look at the lineup the other way around. If you're an opposing coach and you look at Florida State's roster and you got one roll of film, and we play a bunch of games here coming up: Indiana, Florida, Georgia Tech, UCF, good basketball teams. Georgia Tech just knocked off Kentucky, but you got to find a weak spot in there. And other than maybe youth, it's a tough lineup. And as usual now with Coach Ham's teams, you got lots of guys you can shuffle. If somebody's cold, if somebody's tired, if somebody's not on that night, he's got a lot of guys to shuffle in that lineup.
I think, I think that was really a shift in this program. And I think it started back to the time when they won the ACC championship with Luke Laux and that group. What you have is this. I tell people competition is an incredible motivator, because one of the things about this, when I was talking to a player who plays on last year, played on an opposing team, the one thing he said about after the game, he was like, man, what made Florida State so tough? They played against, they played against a lot of, top level talent that same year. He said Florida State was the toughest team. He's like, because when you sub 5 out, it's like you're coming up with another same 5. There's no drop off. It's the same length, same size, same athleticism. And so I think competition is there. And so I think it's going to, I think he'll start to shorten his bench as the year goes on. But more than anything else, you got competition, and every last one of those guys are going to be needed. As we've seen around the way this team plays, there's going to be something. There probably could be a different leading scorer every single night.
Yeah. Have you got a sleeper player? Have you got a guy that a lot of people, Calhoun got a lot of talk after that first game. He's got a nice stroke. And you're a guy that you're picking to come out of nowhere?
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think Sadir Calhoun is going to be, as far as newcomer, I mean, everybody knows Scotty. That's a no-brainer. But I think Sadir Calhoun is going to be really good. He reminds me, he's a hybrid. He reminds me a lot of Tim Pickett, a more athletic Tim Pickett. But he also reminds me of one of my teammates, Terrell Baker. As far as defensively, how he is on the ball. And so I think the kid's got a chance. He's going to have to, the game's going to have to catch up to him a little bit again. It's like any junior college kid who transfers on just sheer ability. He was able to be a high level player, but now you got teams scouting you every single game. And so he's going to have to be ready for that. I think a guy who's going to have a good year is going to be Wyatt Wilkes. I think Wyatt Wilkes is going to be a guy who really helps us. I think we're going to need Wyatt to help us this year in order for us to get to a national championship.
Well, he has that talent coming off the bench, red hot. Sometimes he's not always hitting a shot, but he can do it. He's not just a stroker. He can come in there and do a lot of things, and he's experienced. And
I want to say this about Wyatt. I think one of the most underrated parts of Wyatt is really a high major passer. Like, he really can pass well. We started the other night. He really can pass well. So even though he wasn't making shots, he was able to affect the game in some other ways.
Well, we are so glad, Adrian, that you joined us tonight, but particularly glad that you're joining Gene Deckerhoff all season to talk about Florida State basketball. We look forward to all your insight and all the broadcasts. We'll be tuning in every game and listening to what you have to say, particularly when you're on the road. We want y'all to paint that picture of every Florida State.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, thanks for your time and congratulations, and appreciation also to Keith Jones. And thank you for all you Seminole Boosters and Coaches Club members who have joined us tonight. We'll do another one of these fairly soon. We hope you tell all your friends that they can come in and ask their question. Visit that onetribe.com. We can't do what we like to do and what you want to see Florida State do without your support. We're in the middle of the general fund campaign right now, and things are going tremendously well. But we can use all the help we can get, as was mentioned earlier. So we hope you'll contribute to that FSU1tribe.com. Don't forget, there's some incentives there. Maybe something coming your way, autograph ball, shirt, hat, although we're not even sure. But just go on the website, tell them you want to help, and they'll help walk you through and see what you can do. We appreciate Coach Hamilton and both the players being with us tonight. And we have the schedule coming up. Don't forget, we may throw the schedule up right now, but don't forget, we've got Indiana now at 7:15 on ESPN. Tip time is 7:15. Florida's coming up on the 12th, Georgia Tech on the 15th, UCF on the 19th, and Seminole basketball is live and in play. We hope you'll get a chance to go to some of the games. Thanks for your support. Thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks Seminole Boosters for setting this up, in particular, new president and CEO Michael Alford for all his work already and for setting up this early general fund campaign and helping make this happen. So we'll see you soon. Go Seminoles.